Welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. It's Friday. That means it's happy hour. Jim Norton was on a few episodes ago, and I was begging him to bring his wife, Nikki. And Nikki is here. Jim and Nikki Norton, welcome. I don't know if that's your last name. I just assumed.
Yes.
Because we live in a patriarchy. And you take your husband's last name. God damn it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
So welcome to Happy Hour. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I
Cheers
love
to
your
you.
drink.
It's a Mai Tai.
It's beautiful.
Oh, my Tai. Mm-hmm.
What's in a Mai Tai?
I mean, of course, I only make mocktails here.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's the first time I've been on a podcast or done anything with a drink in place. I love it. Just right up my alley.
It really does set the table nicely.
It does.
This one, so there's a couple of variations because there's like fruity, tiki ones that have like a bunch of fruit juice and they're really not supposed to.
Right.
But I'm not necessarily a purist. I like drinking things that are delicious.
Yeah.
So this is dark rum, light rum, theoretically, if it were.
If it were a
in
real
the
drink, of course. You would never do that here.
No, orgeat syrup, which is like almond syrup. I hope you're not allergic to nuts.
No,
I don't think you are.
It's a good time to ask 4 sips in. Grab an EpiPen from downstairs. My wife dies. I hug you and
Giant
thanks.
lady all over the place.
And this has orange and pineapple juice and then a little bit of grenadine for color.
Very nice.
Really good. It's
Yeah.
delicious.
Thank you.
You've been doing this for a long time, right?
I do
Making
like
drinks?
mixing cocktails. I've always thought of it like making desserts. You know,
Do you
it's
do
like-
that well?
Delicious.
I do.
Yeah.
I love making desserts.
Do you like to be a hostess?
Yeah.
I love it too.
Yeah, I love throwing down a party.
Yes, me too.
We should have people over. You'll be invited. We're having people over. I'm a very bad host, but Nikki's been like on me to have people over to the house.
That's all you need. You just need one person who elevates the game.
Yes.
And so a good hostess anticipates the needs in advance.
Yeah.
So you've always got something at the ready. It's, you know, I've always got nachos. Like
Yeah.
I always have like queso dip and nachos and something to throw on them that you can throw in the oven and be ready if you run out of food.
Yes.
Because at some parties that happens.
And it's a quick snack, and
Yes.
people love it.
Yes.
They always get rid of it. They eat it all.
Yeah, exactly. And like just knowing what other people might want to drink.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a shit host. I'm really am. I'm not good.
You know, we don't have that many people over, Jim. We got to start hosting a little bit more. And I mean, Jim has his great apartment. I feel like he's very lonesome in it. Like,
Were you surprised and impressed the first time you saw his apartment?
I was very surprised.
Yeah.
I think
What did you think his domicile would be like?
I really don't know, but one of the first things that I ever mentioned when I talked to him was, "How much is your apartment?
Yeah, that
Where
was
is
a-
how
Really?
does
That
it
was
look
what
like?"
you asked?
Yes, that was
one of the first things.
blunt Norwegian conversation. We're on FaceTime. She's in Norway, and she's like, "How much was that apartment?" I'm like, "Oh, great." So that's the smart one to marry.
And you're like doing the math, like, do I say it's rent stabilized? Like, does that make me look thrifty?
Yeah.
Yet really well organized and well researched?
Or do I lie and say it's worth more, trying to impress somebody?
Yes.
So you have to kind of make a quick decision on what you're going to do.
And then she gets here and like, all right, well, why didn't you send the PJ to Norway?
I've actually learned, just to be truthful, because I had one woman I met in Vegas years ago, and she came and saw my apartment, and she was so turned off. It was in Jersey. It was like, it had mold on the walls. It was really bad. And she's like,
God, it's not that.
no, you wouldn't tolerate it.
When did you make the step up?
When I started doing radio in like 2000, around there, like I moved to New York 2002.
Was it like the second you got an upped paycheck, you're like, I'm the Jeffersons now?
I got a 2-year deal. I went from a $300 a month place to $2,200 a month, and we got fired 5 months into a 2-year deal.
God.
So I was panic stricken.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jim also works every day. He's a true workaholic.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
Sundays off. A real traditional man. I love
feel
that.
I feel like that's comics though, because Jimmy Fallon is the same way. Like he will work himself silly
Yeah.
or sick. You know, it's like he will not stop working.
Well, I have to fund somebody who's buying a lot of things.
Well, I'm not obsessive. I think that I take great care of the finance, and it's
Yeah.
not like I go into Gucci every day. I mean,
No, but
don't.
we make money so we can enjoy life.
Yes.
I'm a very firm believer in that because I've known people. Okay, I'm obsessed with dying words. Like, and if you have your favorite dying words of someone you've ever heard, I would love to hear them because there are a couple of them that resonate with me. One was Oscar Wilde on his deathbed said, it's either me or the drapes. One of us has to go.
That's funny.
Which to have the wherewithal to say something like that,
It's great.
is brilliant.
Yeah.
Another one, my friend's grandmother was on her deathbed. She had been essentially in a coma for about a week, and she was barely in and out of consciousness. Muttering, but no real cogent words or sentences. The moment before she died, she sprung up and said, "Don't save money!" And that has stuck with me since I heard that story in my early 20s.
Wow, because she's saying enjoy it. Basically,
Yes.
have fun with it.
Yes, because what's the point of saving money
she's
and having a
right.
big lump,
Yeah.
for people who are just going to fight over
I'm
it?
happy you said that. I'm going to take a mental note, go to Bergdorf, have fun.
Yeah,
You
well,
should have good sheets. Like, there are some things you should spend money on.
we do have good sheets. We actually instead we have
Sarah.
Yes, we have a king bed with two. It's actually two twin XLs that raise separately.
Really?
Because her sleeping habits it's awful. I've never lived with anyone.
Big lady.
She's a big lady and she sprawls out.
Oh, she starfishes.
It's horrendous.
I do like an octopus.
That's
Yeah.
really funny. I have one of my daughters does that. Like, she's always starfished, and so when we share a bed in a hotel, it's like I have a sliver at the end of the bed, and she's like,
Yeah, I can't stand it. So
That's me.
I got two twin XLs, so we kind of have separate
"Nice."
sheets.
Then you can raise and lower.
Uh-huh. Yeah, which I like. I like a little separation.
Complete blackout curtains, the fans on blast. He really sleeps.
Well, that's a Norwegian thing. So it was like a Norwegian divorce, they called it, where and instead of a sleep divorce, you just have two comforters.
You do.
So you
That's
treat
true.
the two halves of the bed separately,
Yeah.
and then everyone's happy because no one is hogging a comforter because there's always something there.
Love that you know that, because when I first came to North America and here in the States, the sheets were different. You have a middle sheet. It's literally like a whole operation. In Norway, you just throw them on. Here it's different. You have the middle sheet, you have the bottom sheet, you have the sheet over that, and then the comforter.
So many sheets.
A lot of things.
I was
We'd
miserable.
have nothing to buy on Memorial Day if we didn't have so many sheets.
The first time I went to Norway and I saw, like, what is this crap? Why is there two comforters?
No
I want a
AC.
sheet, no AC. Where am I? I was furious. We stayed at her mom's for Christmas, and I don't like to stay at people's houses because they don't understand blackout curtains. They don't understand vampire schedule. So the curtain misses like the ridge of the shelf by that much. The light comes in. I hate it.
You might as well be sleeping on the sun.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
My mom was born in Transylvania. And I have such an aversion to
Really?
light at night that
Transylvania.
I have to sleep with like bug eyes. Like it has to be something that seals around my
Yeah.
eye so no light gets in.
I was not born in Transylvania, but
No,
I,
you
I
weren't.
moved there.
Did you?
I'm transgender.
Oh yes, of course.
That's the best
Oh,
type.
yes.
Best type of Sylvania. Are you really, your mom really from there?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I don't know if I
Where
ever met
is
anybody
that?
with Transylvanian lineage.
Yeah.
I
No.
never thought it was real.
No, it's real. It's
didn't-
it's
wow.
like I think a city and a province in Romania. And they're like, my mom's family was
Oh, she's
very
Romanian.
Yeah, she's
Wow.
Romanian.
Oh,
like,
wow.
superstitious.
I love that.
Like very skeptical of people, which I always love. And my mom can hold a grudge. It's one of my favorite things about her.
Yeah.
Because I think we've grown into too soft of a forgiving
Too
society.
forgiving.
Yes.
Now, do you have any like, because Nikki thinks she's an oracle? Do you have any like ability, insight into people or
Yes.
anything from Transylvania?
Yes, yeah. So everyone on my mom's side of the family, including my daughters, had some form of a gift. Like they've got something. So I'm
too.
an
Oh my God.
empath, and then I can. This is going to sound really weird, but I can feel people's feelings when they've passed.
Wow. I
And
believe it.
it's
100%.
happened like on many occasions. Either I'll feel someone come through, or I have been overcome by someone else's emotions, and I know they're not mine, and I know who it is, and it's like they recognize that, and then my mom and I will have the same dreams about dead people on the same night.
Really?
Oh
Yes.
my God. And
So-
you've probably been right so many times where you know that, okay, this is something that I have.
I don't have premonitions, but I do have like some sort of a connection to the other side. And my younger daughter has premonitions, like she has dreams about things that have come true. And my older daughter is a pure empath, like to the point where she's so sensitive she can feel what everyone's feeling. It makes her a great judge of character, but it's also hard going through life like that.
Yeah, you got to walk on eggshells because you can sense what everybody else is feeling.
Yeah.
Like, so you have to, oh no, so-and-so's feeling bad.
My great-great-grandmother was burned on the fire. She was a
Oh my gosh.
northern witch.
Wow.
Yes. And then my
Ooh, I just got chills.
Yes, and my grandmother was an oracle. She had long white hair down to the floor. Wow. And then my grandmother, she would always know when the phone would ring, when these little things would happen, and every single time it happened. Jim, of course, doesn't believe this.
No, I think
looking
her
at
grandmother
me
was
like,
Radar from MASH. Always knew.
That's funny. Just trying to get out of the service. So do you have that gift?
I believe if a car passes me by and they have black out windows, I'll still be able to tell what that person has in the fridge. It's that kind of a thing.
Well, you have very crystal blue eyes.
Thank you very
So
much.
so there's no transparency there.
Thank you. I can't see in the sunlight.
Did you know when you started talking to Jim that you would be married? How soon did you know? Because I know that you had talked for something like 8 months before you actually met.
7 months before we ever met in person physically, yeah.
If Jim didn't meet me, I still think that I would just be a trans person who's behind closed doors. I really sincerely do.
Were you not living out in the open?
No, he was the first man to ever take me on a date. And I've been with men before, so it's not like, I wasn't out there. But
What?
But he was the first.
That's not what the catalog said.
Yeah, I just said virgin.
The first man to ever hold my hand in public.
Oh.
So, I mean, that for me was the real click. That was like, okay, I know that he cares and has great affection. So I do also take it for granted now that we're married and, it's very normal for me now. We've been together for close to 7 years almost.
How does your family feel about it?
Well, at first, Jim is older than my father. So I think it was adjusting to that. And also that now.
I mean, in your defense, Norwegians get married when they're 12.
Yes, they do.
So
Yes, they do.
They do get married. Well, yes.
her dad is just out of law
Her
school.
dad's great that we both like Kiss. That makes me so happy. She hates my music, but her father and I get along on the
Yes.
music.
Well, that's important. You have to find common ground.
I think the hardest part for them was that I was moving out of the country, probably.
Yeah.
That was probably the hardest.
Yeah, well, she was in Canada for a while. Like it was a whole
Well,
long
the United
process.
States had such an issue with me coming here in the first run because in Norway I got a $100 fine for smoking weed, blah blah blah. So now I'm going to the embassy, right, and I'm showing my record, and he's like, no, you're a criminal. But Canada didn't have a problem with it.
Oh.
So I could just relocate there. I did for 2 years.
Okay.
And
then were you going back and forth?
Every weekend I would drive up from Montreal. Every other next weekend I would drive up to Montreal, spend Thursday, Friday, Saturday with her, come back Sunday morning, do radio.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was nice though. We got to kind of feel it out, and then the pandemic, I was just there.
yeah, we went to our tiny apartment.
Isn't that amazing? Like the pandemic either brought people together and they're like, if I can live with you through this,
100%.
we can get through anything.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
That was like a clarification for us because if we got through that, then absolutely we're meant to be. I really do think that Jim is my soulmate.
I had never lived with a woman, but you're my first. Some would say, but she was my first partner ever living with, and I was like, "How is this going to be?" And it was in the pandemic, so it was like two of us in a 1-bedroom. We couldn't go out past 8 o'clock. Montreal was strict. It was great though.
Yeah, just throwing you into the crucible.
Oh, but I have a love for Canada. Like as much as they're annoying because they were way stricter, I think, even than the States were. They were very allowing me to come in, allowing her to spend. They were very, very welcoming as a country. So I owe Canada a lot. We owe a lot to the Canadians.
Moving to Canada and the States made me realize just how cold the Norwegians are. I mean, they really are freaking cold people.
Well, I asked Jim, I was like, is it like being around a culture of people on the spectrum?
Yes.
Honestly.
Because, it's like, I feel like I'm around a lot of people who either have Asperger's or they're somewhere on the spectrum and they have a hard time making eye contact.
It's uncomfortable
they're
every
very
time.
literal
Yes.
and they tell you exactly
Yep.
what they see and what they think. And they don't assume that you're going to get hurt because emotion doesn't really factor in.
I say this all the time. I think the Norwegians are colder than the Russians. I
Really?
really do sincerely think. And Norwegian would never admit that because it is a nice country and we are happy people. But if you don't say hi at all and it's uncomfortable just to deal with a cashier, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
It really is a social problem.
Okay,
Yes.
so and I would love to know your thoughts on this. When I open the door for someone and they don't say thank you, I always go, "You're welcome."
Oh, I had that happen
It
to me.
drives me crazy when like a basic
Oh my
courtesy
God,
when someone doesn't acknowledge that. But I feel like in Norway, people would just be like,
They just
blowing
don't.
past
2
you.
weeks ago, we went to a restaurant called Avra, and I opened the door for this man, and I
beautiful
held it
restaurant.
for 10 seconds.
Him and his
Even
wife.
his wife went out, and I was like, "Excuse me," could have said thank you.
Yeah.
Nothing. I couldn't help myself Because it was not just me opening the door for a second. This was 10 seconds I held that giant door for you.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me thank you? I couldn't believe it.
It's
It's like, what do I?
Couldn't believe it.
No,
How
I don't
dare you.
work here.
Yes.
murderous rage. I was last night at the Comedy Cellar. I was when you walk in from the Olive Tree down the steps into the cellar, and I stood on the top. There was a woman coming up, and half the steps she had to go, and I stood there and held it, and she just walked right through. And I wanted to put her back, and I wanted to slam the door in her face.
Yeah, because there are two kinds of people in this world. Like, I feel it's such a jerk move to let the door close when someone is close enough within reason. And I feel like that's a horrible thing to do. So it's like, it's a basic courtesy to open the door.
I also feel that I'm kind of a selfish person sometimes, but I would never do that to someone. And that just surpasses all of my selfishness, which makes me go, hold the fuck on. That's crazy. It made me literally livid.
Yeah, it's infuriating because it's a really weird violation. There's like a social contract. You be polite. You say thank you, and it really is somebody seeing you as a servant, or seeing you as kind of a. You're not a real person. You're an actor in their play. It reveals.
An actor, yes. You're an extra.
You're an extra in their play. Yes, they're the star, of course, and you're the guy who holds the door, and it makes them hateable, like really hateable on an unreasonable amount of hatred I have for them.
Do you want to bring children into your marriage?
I do.
No.
This is fun.
I know that Jim doesn't.
Little point of contention here.
Yeah, and I never thought that I would, honestly, but I'm 30 soon, so I feel like when I'm going to be 35, am I not going to have, because I don't have any family here at all, I think it would be really weird if I didn't have any daughters or sons. I do want a daughter.
Or we could just get a small dog. I think she's just jockeying for a small dog. And I will eventually do that. Like, I've never wanted one.
I want a family.
Yeah.
I want a traditional life.
Well, start with
This
the
is
dog
true.
and see how that goes. I mean, maybe if you love a dog so much, you're going to be like, man, imagine one of these in human form.
No, I just...
You would love it, Jen.
I wouldn't. I'd probably... I'm sure I would love, but I don't want
would.
kids. I've never wanted kids. It's just, I don't have parental instincts. I mean...
That's okay. No one does.
maybe
That's
down the
a
road.
secret no one tells you. No one has parental instincts. No one knows what to do. No one does it right. And you just have to figure it out and really love something more than yourself, which you are obviously capable of doing.
Yes, but I feel like I already have someone to take care of. I don't need another person. We got to go. We're late. We got to go.
I know,
We're late.
but think about you would have another person to spend money.
I would love that we go shopping and put on dress. Wow, she would be gorgeous.
Even if it's our son.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
No, I just don't. I've never wanted to be a parent. Like, I have nothing against it. Like, obviously, everyone I know is a parent.
You would
but
be a great dad.
I might be, but I don't have that push to do it. You know, so
Let's see.
yeah, we've been going back and forth, but she knows it's not going to happen.
So has the needle moved? Like, was it 99 no, 1% one, and now it's like 70-30?
Oh, good, no. I mean, that's the needle slipping. No, I would say it's been pretty consistent at 99 no, 1 yes. And the 1 yes is only because, like, there's always a margin of error. That's it.
Jim has
like in a poll.
Like
Yeah,
the people
has
in
to.
Wisconsin who are voting for Biden?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Just like a little margin for error.
He has to realize that he will die before me. So then, if I have no family here, who am I when I die?
Yeah.
Who's gonna get all my stuff? Like, is there gonna be nothing in place there? As a will, my jewels? I mean, what's gonna happen?
I'm not
here?
changing diapers just so you have someone to hang out with
Well, I'll be
after I'm in a
changing your
box.
diapers.
Yes, you will be.
I mean, but that is what life is.
I guess
That's
it is.
you've just reduced life to its essence and meaning.
That really is
like
what
you
it
have
is.
children, so you have someone to hang out with.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when the other person that you love most is in a box, you still have the kids.
I guess so.
Because I'll be changing your diapers. Who's gonna change mine?
Well, that's exactly. You have enough money saved. You go to a home
You're
or
so
something.
glamorous, you'll never need diapers.
I hope not.
No, I just don't want to do it. And I'm sorry if I'm going to be dead. She always reminds me I'm going to be dead before her. It really very Livia Soprano-ish. That's, again, that Norwegian bluntness. Well, Jim, you're going to die first. I'm like, I know, but we don't have to say it.
Plan for
You know,
the future.
Yeah. Yeah, it's our anniversary. You don't have to remind me that I'm going to be dead before you are. But I just, that doesn't move me at
What
all.
is a 30-year difference?
29 years.
29 years.
That's a big one.
Yeah. There is so did you see the Congressman John Rose from Tennessee? He brought his child to Congress and his child was like "Blah," like making all these faces in the camera, a little 7-year-old. It was very cute. The
Like
kid
a
was
little
funny.
Andrew,
Andrew Giuliani.
Andrew Giuliani,
exactly
yes.
right. And he's like, "Oh." The dad was 42 when he met the mom when she was 17.
Oh wow.
Scandal.
What's his name?
John Rose.
Someone to vote for. Oh, wow. Okay, so they had a...
Sounds like you.
yeah, it's not far off.
Well, not when I was 19.
No, I know, but just still, when you're a congressman, you're under more scrutiny.
Yeah, a
but
little bit.
I guess it's illegal where he's from in Tennessee. That's certainly
Yeah,
legal.
it's
Is it
encouraged.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
17, that's about right.
Yeah, what are you, an old lady?
Yeah, the hips just rounded out. Let's do it. Grass on the field, play ball.
Are they married? I guess they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've
What,
got
what,
two
what do
children.
I care for? Listen to me like the old lady. Have they made it legal? Is it okay? Who cares?
Evangelical Jim Norton.
Oh, I've got to make myself sick with that
Here on the
question.
700 Club.
Oh, my God. Well, as long as they're married, dear.
Maybe she was very mature for her age.
Maybe, but, you know.
Yeah.
Was he a congressman when he met her or no?
No, he was probably just some weird dude walking around like
Yeah.
with fun
Yeah.
dip going,
I-
hey,
yeah.
anyone want some candy?
High school bus driver. Like, hey, I'm going to be somebody someday. Is he, how old is he now?
53.
All right, so they got 11 years together. She's
Yeah.
28. All right.
Yeah, she's a hot pot of coffee just like you. I'm so glad you were here. Please come back.
Yes.
I want to know when you finally make the decision to procreate. I would like to be here to toast your child.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think so. But, we'll come back and tell
Well,
you
at
if
least
we're
you'll
going
have a
to.
cute dog.
Yes, we will.
Okay, so what kind of dog would you get?
I really want a Cavapoo
Okay.
or a Saint Bernard. So it's very...
Big city dog.
She
Big
either wants
dog,
a-
big poop.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
the only
I
thing to consider
know.
with the Saint Bernard.
She wants like a little baggie or a shovel. And it's like, I don't want a large dog.
I
I'm
would
not-
never neglect my dog.
No, I know.
Imagine going out on 3rd Avenue with a snow
Yeah.
shovel like,
Yeah.
all right, Bowser, here we go.
That sound a shovel makes on concrete. Yeah, it's not
and,
happening.
a hefty bag
No.
every day.
Only con about the Cavapoo is that it's very small and no one's going to be intimidated when I walk with it.
Yeah,
That's...
but they'll be charmed.
Plus, I'm 6 foot, so maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah, damn
It's funny how
straight.
she lied before I met her. Oh, no, I'm 5'11", and now that we're married, as soon as the paperwork is signed, I'm 6'1".
That's just trying to make myself sound like a woman.
Well, now she could be in the WNBA.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
She can go hip check Caitlin Clark. All right, cheers to you both. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
My dear.
Oh, what a delight.
Absolutely. To the Nortons.
Ah,
And
thank
to
you.
true love. This has been
Ah.
Kennedy Saves the World Happy Hour along with Jim and Nikki Norton. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.
Oh,
Go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.